What's going on, everybody? As indicated by the title, in this video I am designing my own original Pokemon, aka Fakemon, based off some really old sketches of mine from many years ago. See, when I was a kid I used to love coming up with my own Pokemon concepts, and I know it's a really popular thing nowadays for many artists who are a fan of the series to create their own Fakemon. So I figured it would be fun to dust off the cobwebs and post up some of my own original designs here for you all to see. I'm starting off with doing the grass starter evolution line here with this little goat guy. My goal with these Pokemon is to try and base the style off more of the original Pokemon designs when they weren't so over the top and all over the place like the designs have sort of evolved to over the past several generations. I want to make them look like pocket monsters, not like these cartoon characters, if you get what I'm saying. So here you can see the completed piece for Fond, the goat Pokemon. Type is obviously grass, ability overgrow like all grass starters have. Dex entry, it will charge at anyone who defiles the woods where it roams. And you can see the shiny forms, little purple version. I put the little, height and weight with a little size comparison with a trainer. But that trainer is not like a 10-year-old trainer, alright? We're going to consider it like an average sized human being, okay? So yeah, there's Fond, and now we will move on to the second stage. So with this stage here, you can see how I plan on starting to transition from it being just a goat into one of my favorite creatures from mythology, a satyr, also called a fawn. I kept most of the original sketches design and I just slightly adjusted a few things here and there like the horns and arms. My idea for this Pokemon line is that they are reclusive creatures that hide out in hidden groves away from human contact. I've always liked the idea of a sort of guardian of the woods type of creature that seeks to preserve nature. I wanted to make it look like it's kind of a shy Pokemon that will try to hide and play little tricks on humans whenever they stumble into the woods where it lives. Sort of like the Skull Kid from Legend of Zelda, who I'm also a huge fan of. And based on that description and the little orange stripe-like rings on its body, maybe you'll be able to guess what typing this Pokemon's final evolution will end up being as well. Not gonna spoil it, you're gonna have to wait till the end of the video, alright? And here's the completed Dex entry for Panchurd. Its name is a combination of Pan, who in Greek mythology is like the god of the wild, and Orchard. Category, Fawn Pokemon. Again, type is still just grass. Ability hasn't changed. Dex entry, a shy creature that spends most of its time playing in hidden orchards. And then you can see the shiny and the size comparison. So with this one complete, let's move on to the final stage of this evolution line. So, there on the left you can see the original design I had for this dude back in the day. It was much more valiant and prideful looking Pokemon, but I wanted to go with something a little more reserved and stoic looking instead. Something far more wise and ancient and mystical. I wanted to give it a more hunched over appearance and a thick hairy mane covering its upper body that looked like a good transition from its previous evolution that had the gray scarf-like fur around its neck. I also debated whether or not I should incorporate vines or some other sort of vegetation draping from its large prominent horns, but to be honest I totally forgot about that until after I finished the design, so it didn't end up making the final cut. Maybe I could just save that for like a mega evolution or something down the line. I also wanted to make sure not to anthropomorphize its design too much. I'm not a fan of Pokemon that have these weird human body shapes and proportions. They just end up looking like a furry, which I want to avoid at all costs. And I did that by giving it these long dangly arms and shorter legs. I wanted to make it look like it would walk slow and methodically, but whenever it needs to break out at a faster pace, it could just get down on all fours and use its arms to move with greater haste. And I just think that it would look even creepier making its way over towards you in that demeanor, like Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Also, by the time I got to coloring this dude, I started to really feel like I was getting into a better groove with the shading style that you see with the official Sugimori art for all the Pokemon. I think one of the most subtle details with his watercolor-like style is the faint, brush-like texture strokes. It just helps the artwork look not as flat and keeps a little bit of that traditional painted look, which I love. So, before we get to the Dex entry for this Pokemon, have you figured out what its secondary typing is? Because if you guess Psychic, you are 100% incorrect and need to do a better job guessing next time. How could you not tell it's going to be a Dark type? Come on now. But in all seriousness, I had considered going with Fairy as its secondary typing, but in the end, Darkness prevailed. So here's the completed entry for Panemian. Its name is a play on the words Pan and Bohemian, like the Bohemian Grove. Category Satyr Pokemon, type like I said, grass and dark. Its dex entry, it dwells deep within ancient woods. Caution to those who trespass into the sacred groves it protects. And I think its shiny form looks pretty cool. It's kind of got like that fell type of energy in its eyes, like that corrupt sort of look. So I thought that was that's pretty cool looking. And then its height, 6'2", weight 234. So it's about my size, a little bit heavier than me, but it's a decent sized Pokemon. So that wraps up my grass starter evolution line. I definitely plan on doing the fire and water starters as well, so be sure to subscribe to the channel so you can check out those designs in the future. Also, let me know in the comments down below what y'all think. And hit that thumbs up button if you enjoyed the video. It lets me know my hard work isn't completely pointless. But anyways, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next one.